Hey everyone, it's a very sad day for all of us in the DFFOO community because just after the recent update, they've announced the end of service for both the JP and global version of the game, and that is really heartbreaking news indeed for those of us who've played the game for years. I am myself actually a day one player as well, so this is really pretty sad news overall. I thought I'd make a quick video covering the announcement, what has changed, and of course my plans for the game over the next 3 months. So I'll start off first by going through the announcement in-game. So after the recent maintenance, there is this official announcement essentially saying that we have 3 months, which is until February 29th for both global and JP version of the game. And during this time, they will give us special so-called content, and they will actually stop all regular content. So no more new story chapters for global, no more lost chapters or anything like that. Which also means that unfortunately, we will no longer get new releases of characters in the game that JP actually did get. Some examples include Amaranth or Angel or Rufus from Final Fantasy VII. We are stuck with whoever we have up till the last event in November 21. So there's more details here. At the same time, right after the update, they've stopped all gem purchases, so you can no longer purchase gems with real money. And this includes all bundles, including the Mock Pass bundles as well. At the same time, there is also a message from the producer. So this is a very specific note from Fujiwara, producer of the game, which I suppose is appreciated. At least he took the time to make a note to all the players of the game. The only thing I didn't really like is the fact that there's no new content for us in global. I would have appreciated for us at least to get a chance of trying out Amaranth or Angel or Rufus or one of the other reworks for the characters, which we now no longer will have a chance. He did also mention that they will spend the time and resource to translate all remaining cutscenes that was released in the JP version of the game and will be released on YouTube after end of service, which sort of made me think that if they have the time and resource to translate cutscenes, I wouldn't think it's that much more to just translate the banners and just throw in all the additional banners that JP got into the global version of the game. So at least this way, if we want, we could pull for the rest of the characters and use them. And because those would just be translations from the JP version of the game, I don't think resource-wise it would be that much, but who knows? I'm not so familiar with how much resource is required to transfer content from JP to global, so this is just speculation. But that was something that I was at least hoping for if we get end of service. So what has changed from now until end of service? Well, as stated, first of all, there will no longer be any gem purchases possible. So whatever gems that you have, that's it. You're stuck with it until the end of the game. There will also be no new events released and no more new event-specific banners. So in global, we had until Act 4, Chapter 6, and that's it. So there will no longer be a Chapter 7 for us, unfortunately. In the JP version of the game, they have until Chapter 9 actually, and beyond that, there will no longer be any new chapters released for them as well. Even though there's no new event-specific banners, they did actually release a bunch of special banners, which is divided based on the FF series that the characters are from, but essentially gives you a chance to aim for and pull for characters from any of the series that has been released up till now. So essentially you can gun for any of the characters that you feel that you're missing and you want to go for. Finally, you also have once a day free daily draw. And on top of this, it's actually now very easy to get BT tokens, so you don't have to aim for specific BTs when you're drawing. You can just go for the BT tokens in exchange for the BT that you are missing. And if I'm not mistaken, you also get 60 G tokens per multi-pool, so it's not that difficult to PT. Oh, looks like that you can't PT. So instead of PTing, they give you options to trade for FR power token, LD token, or EX tokens, which I suppose it's actually better that way, as I guess, because there's now the FR token, LD token, and EX token exchange, so you can sort of exchange for the weapon of choice that you are potentially missing for your roster. I guess this is the chance for you to go all out and pull for characters that you are missing for, and use them in the next 3 months content, which I'll cover next. On top of this, finally, every character also has their FR50 unlocked, so you can bring any and every character to force level 50. Obviously, that's going to take a lot of force enhancement materials, but you also get that from the current event and the daily token shop. So for example, now if I go to the current monthly event, and I'll cover more about the event next, but just to show, if you are bottlenecked somewhere, whether be it force enhancement points or Dissidia points or the summon points, or you need more BT tokens, or you need one of the enhancing materials, or you need the 4 stone fragments, all of it is now available with unlimited quantities to redeem. So essentially, it is possible to continuously do co-ops and redeem as many things as you want to max out your characters. So it just depends on how much grind that you want to do to max out characters that you have left in your roster. The same goes for the daily token exchange as well. Now they've upped the daily token. I honestly haven't used any since this came about, but you can change for LD tokens, EX tokens, 4 stone fragments, burst power tokens, etc. And you get 20 tokens a day now, so it's at least easier to redeem some of these items. Next up, going through the event calendar for the next 3 months and showing what's gonna happen. So there is an in-game schedule that's been released. You can refer to this for more information. Essentially, there's 3 key components to the events. The first is a Cactuar Cacophony, which in my mind looks sort of like a training dummy damage stage, where you throw together a team just to see how much damage you can dish out with your team of 3, which I suppose is kind of fun but gimmicky. The other 2 components though are pretty interesting, and the first of which I want to start off with is the Dusk to Dawn, which I just showed earlier. So Dusk to Dawn is month specific. So during the next 3 months, each month we get a different Dusk to Dawn, and they each have their co-ops and the Lufenia and Shinryu stages like a normal event, but they will be around for the entire month before going away. And in these events, you have your token shop, and you can, as I've shown, you can redeem for virtually anything you need to max out your character as you grind these events. And they have also a Shinryu event. The first Dusk to Dawn has been released. It looks to be a rerun of Kalga's stage. I don't know whether the HP pools have been adjusted. I haven't had a time to look at that yet. But if that holds true, I think the same will be for the other 2 Dusk to Dawn as well, where it's likely just going to be rerun of previous stages that we've had. The next event is the final Dare to Defy. This is going to be a mega 21 stage event, but split across 3 blocks. The first block will be released right now, right after the maintenance, and is the Dare to Defy Estrius. And then the next block will be released 1 month later, and the final block will be released on the final month. Unlike the Dusk to Dawn, this is going to be available for the entire 3 months, so you don't have to rush to get through all of this. If I understand the description correctly, the character restrictions are there for the entire 21 stages. So assuming you bring a 3-man party for every stage, you need 63 build characters, which might seem like a lot, but it's not really, because we now have like 180 plus characters in the game, so that's just a third of your roster. And don't forget, they now have released banners and materials to enhance your entire roster, so getting 63 characters isn't actually too difficult, and you have 3 months to gradually work your way, maximizing your characters. Also, of course, there are going to be some stages where you don't have to bring a party of 3. You can solo with solo star characters such as Calgar or Rubicante, in which case you don't potentially need 63 characters. I like Dare to Defy. I like the character restrictions. I don't mind that the Dare to Defy is going to just be a rerun. And I guess now that it's coming to end of service, in the next 3 months we are going to get like a trip down memory lane where they will bring back old bosses for us to try out our team against. It's just a shame that we have this in line with end of service. If this was more a regular thing instead of end of service thing, then it would have made my day. But now it's sort of like a bittersweet release. I guess the only last thing is we will get a 6th anniversary special 50+1 draw. So the game actually lasts 6 years altogether, which I suppose is pretty reasonable and good length of time for a gacha game. So what will be my plans moving forward? Well, I've always liked the game and I will continue playing right up till end of service, so I will still be releasing content on the Dare to Defy and Dusk to Dawn stages, and maybe some other videos in between, let's see. Obviously, there's not going to be any pool plan videos moving forward because there will be no new event banners. I'm thinking about it, but I may release some videos on which of these banners to go for. If you are fairly new, and you don't even have a roster and you want characters that are pretty good to tackle the Dare to Defy stages or the Dusk to Dawn stages. Really, there's a lot of choices here, but I might just go through some of the banners available as well. But let's see. After end of service, the verdict is still out there. I really don't want my YouTube channel to just die out just like this. I really appreciate everyone that's followed me over the years and have interacted with, and I really like being part of a community as well. So the most likelihood is I will transition to another game. What game it is, I haven't decided yet. I'm contemplating another gacha game because it's easier if it's on mobile, just so that it's easier to record and easier to edit the video. I never actually used the PC for the last 6 years. Everything is done on mobile. And living in Asia, I did see that there's a pre-announcement for Octopath Traveler for Asians. Previously, the release was for everywhere except Southeast Asia, unfortunately. So that is potentially something that I could get into. I am also contemplating going on a PC or PS5. I do have that. It's just, to me, they are not very portable, so I tend to just game on my mobile. But games like FF7 Remake is something that I was always interested in. I haven't played FF16 as well, but then I will have to transition into different games after that. So it's just something that's very difficult, and I have to work out how to video capture as I play through the games as well, and the editing will also be more work. So I'm leaning more towards gacha games, but there isn't a lot of options, or at least options that I would like as much as DFFOO. Unfortunately, I think DFFOO has spoiled the market for me. Finally, since this is an end of service video, I guess the only thing left to say is a big thank you and really to show my appreciation to both Square Enix and Team Ninja for creating such a great game, and emphasis on the word great. Over the years, I've tried a few other gacha games and none really live up to this game in particular. There's a few reasons why. I think first of all, this game can be played at whatever pace that you want. If you want to be casual, you can still clear content with very little time invested. If you want to grind, like the co-ops and tokens and such, you can obviously spend more hours if you want to. But there's not a lot of pressure, on that, and that goes for the monetization as well. In many other gacha games, you hit a paywall and you need to spend money to clear the stages. In this game, you don't have to. I don't really care what, whether there's anyone who says you can't win unless you pay. That's definitely not true. And the call to arms is, I think, living proof that even if you're free to play, you can clear endgame content as well for many months in a row. And that's really great for a gacha game. So really kudos for the developers. Also want to say a big thank you to Square Enix, Joshua and Crystal. They've been great people to communicate with over the years, and although I've never managed to catch the live streams because of time zone differences, I think they do a lot of good work, being the middleman between us in the community and the developers. They've always been very upfront, honest, transparent, very nice to interact with, and I think they set the bar really high for other developers as well. Finally, of course, big thank you to everyone else in the community. I think over the years, I've met and grew close to a lot of people, and I won't start naming because I'm sure I'll forget one or two people here and there, and I don't want to leave anyone out. But to those that I've communicated with, I'm sure, shout out to everyone. I hope that we'll meet again in future games, and obviously I've seen some of the Discord channels also saying that they retain the channel but just maybe convert it to something else. So I hope that there will be continued engagements, and things won't just die out over the months after end of service. You guys are awesome, and hope that although this is a sad development, it's not the end of the world, and I'm sure we'll meet again in the next gacha game. Till then, see you guys.